Despite city leaders supporting the convention center expansion, critics say taxpayers could end up picking up extra cost. Here with a closer look at the expansion plan and how it will be financed is Stephen Johnson with the San Diego Convention Center and Corey Briggs, attorney for the Navy Broadway Complex Coalition. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening. Stephen, you've been working on this effort to expand the convention center since 2006. How do you see the expansion benefiting San Diego?
Well, the Convention Center currently has generated over $400 million to city taxpayers to pay for public parks, fire, police protection, et cetera. And 12,500 jobs are directly tied to events that are held in the building. The expansion will add 7,000 new permanent jobs, and an additional $13 million will go into city tax revenues to help pay for those services.
All right, and Corey, the Navy Broadway Complex Coalition wants the Coastal Commission, which is voting tomorrow on this, to deny the project. How come?
Well, the public access issues can't be solved. The last expansion did so much damage to the public's access to the waterfront. It hasn't been rectified. The current proposal will make it even worse, and there's no plan to adequately mitigate for those impacts, so they have to deny it.
And Stephen, your response to that?
I think the staff report that came out yesterday showed that 10 of the 11 issues that the staff raised about access have been resolved.
The commission staff?
Yeah, the commission staff. Mm-hmm. And the one remaining issue is they want to build a bridge over 4th at Harbor, and we don't have $43 million to do that.
And Corey, speaking of money, the estimated cost of the expansion right now is at $520 million, but your group says the cost is more going to be like $550 million in that range. What's behind the increased price tag?
It's probably even more than that. The $520 million is construction costs. It doesn't include the $13.5 million to buy the parking lot where the expansion will take place. It doesn't include about $40 million for 82,000 square feet of expansion that was left off of the bid documents of the contractor that the city approved for the contractor. And it's got about another 18,000 square feet of retail space that wasn't included in that as well. So using the city's own price figures comes to about $63.5 million, not included in the $520 million number.
And Stephen, you disagree with those numbers?
Yeah, I mean, the San Diego Convention Center Corporation acquired the land, and the City Council passed a budget for the bonds for the initial offering of $53 million in bonds. It includes $12.5 million for the land itself. So the second thing I would say is that the retail that's associated with the building is included in the construction of the building. It's not separate. Any kind of leasehold improvements of the retail space would have to be based on who leases the space. So I'm not sure quite where Corey gets his math, but it doesn't add up.
If Stephen, and I'll come back to you, Corey, on this as well, if there's overrun cost, if the construction, whatever there is, more money, will taxpayers be on the hook for that?
I can't answer that question because I don't know what those things are, but there is a whole design process that yet has to take place that will value engineer the facility to save money. So I think from the standpoint of where we are in this process, it's too early to make wild allegations about budgets being out of whack before the building is even designed.
And Corey, what do you think about it? Is this a risk to taxpayers?
Yes, and it's not a wild allegation. The independent budget analyst looked at this and said that the city's general fund will be on the hook if the city's preliminary figures, if the costs exceed the revenues. That's from the independent budget analyst. That's not my wild allegation.
And Stephen, if this is approved tomorrow by the Coastal Commission, what will the next steps be?
Well, the port has a couple additional steps, permitting, coastal development permit, and the city will then move and will try and resolve the financing issue, and hopefully we'll win on appeal on the financing of the expansion. And hopefully we can move forward and build this expansion so it doesn't get delayed and cost taxpayers more money.
And Corey, how about you? If the commission votes yes on this, what are the next steps?
Oh, it'll be a lawsuit to challenge the decision. We think they have a very tough time tomorrow because the port has already concluded that the project is inconsistent with the Coastal Act. So I don't see how the Coastal Commission can override the port's own finding that the port's doing something illegal.
All right, Corey Briggs and Stephen Johnson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to let folks know for the latest news on the Convention Center expansion and for tomorrow's vote, they can go to kpbs.org. Thanks.
Thank you.